Hi, College Success. This is your week 8, therefore your very last video for the semester. So hopefully that is exciting news and you are thankful that we have reached the end. So this video is going to capture what you're supposed to be doing this week and just kind of wrapping things up so you know what to expect and due dates and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to scroll down. By the time you see this video, week 8 will have been opened. So you're going to get into week 8, and we are in our very last textbook chapter, chapter 7, so which is wonderful, last chapter. And so I'm going to go ahead and go over the content of chapter 7. So you would go into the materials folder, and there are the slides right there. So I'm going to pull up the slides. And this is going to talk about staying on track and celebrating success, which is relevant because we're finishing the semester, so hopefully you're celebrating that. So chapter 7 starts off talking about reflecting on your progress, the importance of, self-regulating. So parts of our chapters previous talked about like goal setting and how to set effective goals. So self-regulation is, okay, great, you've set your goal, but that's not the end of it. You don't just set your goal and then a month or two or whatever later, oh, did I meet my goal? No, you've got to check. How am I doing? Am I using strategies that are effective? If not, what do I need to adjust? Do I need to look at my goal? Do I need to look at the strategies? So you're constantly reflecting, and so that way you know how you're doing on your goal. And you can use feedback to help with your self-regulation. So 2 kinds of feedback. Cognitive is the thinking process. How is something going while you are engaged in it? So while you're studying, while you're doing homework, you're using flashcards, you're using quizzes, you're using group work, whatever it might be. How's it going? Do you understand it? Is something making sense? Is it not making sense? So right in the moment is that cognitive, like kind of your own feedback. And then there's outcome feedback, which is what it sounds like, the outcome. What was the outcome? When you get your grade back, when you get your paper back, what kind of comments or suggestions did the instructor give you so that you can take those, think about them, and then incorporate them as you move forward. So those are different kinds of feedback. Our chapter will also talk about how important it is to be accurate in your self-assessment. So for instance, if you're studying and you have a test coming up, to be confident, but not overconfident, not say, oh, I really got this, because a lot of their research showed that students who were overconfident stopped studying, too soon, or they didn't study enough, and then they actually did more poorly on the exam. So be accurate, be honest with yourself and say, you know what? I've got it, but this one section I need to pay more attention to. So just really being honest and accurate with yourself, which also leads into what's called the attribution theory, is how you view making mistakes. Mistakes are part of the learning process. So how do you view those mistakes? Do you believe that, you cause your own success, your own failure? Do you attribute them to other people? Now, the mistakes are important. The only mistakes you don't want to make are mistakes that hurt someone, or mistakes that you've already made. So you don't want to repeat the same mistake. Other than that, mistakes are actually an important part of the learning and growing process. So it's okay to make mistakes. Our textbook talks about there are positive ways to look at mistakes, that kind of attribution theory. The positive ways to view it is that it's internal. Something that you did caused you to succeed or fail. You have a test and you did poorly. Maybe you didn't study enough. Maybe you didn't ask questions. So it's inside. You can change it. So if it's internal, you have the power to change it for the future, good or bad, success or failure. Now, you may all know, and maybe sometimes you're guilty of this, of blaming outside things. Like, oh, I didn't have enough time to study because I had to work. Well, that might be true, but maybe did you not manage your time well enough? Or could you have really studied? Or could you have asked for less hours? Or whatever the case is. I know every situation is a little different, but when you can view your mistakes as internal and changeable, that's the most productive, positive way to do so. Also, this might be relevant at this point and maybe different points of the semester. How do you stay motivated? And there are different theories of motivation. The first theory is behavioral motivators. We are rewarded by behavior. So if I get an A, I'm going to treat myself to a dinner. I'm going to get coffee today. And whatever the case is, like, you're motivated by rewards. This is really common You are motivated to get good grades. You're motivated to get a job. Those are behavioral motivators because at the end, you're getting a reward, a good grade, a good job, a raise, whatever that might look like. We could also be motivated to avoid consequences. So that's also behavioral. We do or do not do things because we don't want to be punished for it. And that's really natural human behavior. So it's behavioral motivators. We also have the theory of cognitive motivators. Our thinking can help us motivate or sometimes deters us from being motivated. So that's why whenever you have unproductive thoughts, things that say, oh, you can't do this or you're not very good at this, you want to challenge those. And so our textbook says, as soon as you realize you're having negative thoughts, say, okay, why? Why do I feel this way? What's causing me to feel unrealistic or very negative? And then how can I verify those thoughts, or what are some other ways to look at this, and what are some things I can ask, and then start to be more positive in your thinking. So a lot of times I have students who are like, oh, I'm horrible at math. And that's a common one I hear. Okay, well, why do you think that? What evidence do you have that you're bad at math? Maybe can you change that to I'm horrible at math to, I'm not great at math, but I have a way to improve. So just trying to challenge it to be more productive. And sometimes that means you have to increase your self-efficacy. You have to take risks. You have to reach out and get help when it's needed. Understand that you're not going to get it perfect the first time. So those all go with that cognitive motivator. So far we've talked about behavioral motivators, cognitive motivators, and then the next theory is humanistic motivators. Is basically that we all have it in ourselves to succeed, whatever success means to you. It means different things to different people, but we have to have certain things met first. And this is where Maslow's hierarchy of needs comes in. So we all have to have these physiological needs first. We have to, eat, we have to sleep, we have to drink, those basic human needs. After that, we have to feel safe, whether that's like physically safe, emotionally safe, whatever that looks like. We have to feel safe where we are. Then we have to feel like we belong. So if to succeed in a college, you have to kind of feel like you belong there. You have to feel like you're a part of your class or part of the network or some case. Build self-esteem, and then you can kind of meet your self-actualized goals. So this is Maslow's theory that goes along with humanistic motivators. So that's our third theory of motivation, humanistic. Our final one is social, is that the people that we surround ourselves with help us to either motivate or maybe they deter us. So that's why you want to be around positive people who can encourage you, who are going to build you up, who are going to maybe set good examples, because it is, we are social by nature, most of us. So maybe you can see yourself in one or multiple of these different theories. And that's going to be a question on the quiz for this chapter, is kind of what motivation do you have for attending college? Also, part of this chapter is managing stress. Again, really appropriate, especially for the end of the semester when other classes, some of you may have final papers or projects or whatever is going on. So some ways to manage stress, some things you've probably heard all your life, sleep well, exercise, eat a good, 3 meals a day. Be mindful, meaning kind of be in the moment. Try not to stress too much about something that happened in the past as well as what's coming up in the future, because if you're in the moment, it helps you just focus a little bit more. And there's ways to be mindful. So you can try to remove distractions, practice deep breathing. If we were in class together right now, I would do something called progressive muscular relaxation, which helps your body relax and focus, only pay attention to one thing at a time. And then also with stress, you want to avoid unhealthy behaviors. While sometimes they can help in the moment, oftentimes they create issues in the long run. So avoiding unhealthy behaviors when you're trying to escape stress. All right. And then chapter 7 starts talking about resilience and grit, making sure that it says resilience, if something bad happens after a traumatic event, your ability to bounce back. Now, that could be like a physical issue. Maybe there's a car accident and your physical try to bounce back. Or it could be you fail a test or fail a class. How are you able to bounce back from that? And then grit is when you are demonstrating resilience over a long-term basis. So maybe there's a long battle, so to speak, to get to your end goal. That's when you show grit. And that's what that perseverance goes in. Perseverance is when you don't give up, even when you have setbacks or you have more time and energy and effort is expected to complete a goal. That's perseverance. Our chapter will also talk about something called growth mindset, and there's been a lot of attention on this, I think, in the last few years in education in particular, is that you do not want to have a fixed mindset. That fixed mindset is basically when you say, I'll use the math example again, I am not good at math. That's a fixed mindset. A growth mindset would be, oh, you know what, I'm not great at math, but if I practice or ask for help and try my best, I might be able to get a little bit better. So your belief in your ability to improve is that growth mindset, and that's actually going to result in more positive productions of things. So there's a little bit more information in your chapter about Carol Dweck. She's the one who is kind of the lead researcher on growth mindset. Also is importance of positive thinking, making sure that you are viewing the world with a positive lens, and that understanding that what you do and say does have an effect on outcomes. And then it starts to kind of wrap up by making sure it talks about having a strong support system, whether that's at home. Maybe you have someone at home who's kind of cheerleading you along. Maybe you have an instructor at the college. You have a network of friends. Just having someone as a support system is so critical to helping you get through. And maybe it's not the same person who's your support in real life, so to speak. A good example is when I was going through my doc program, my husband was a great support system because he made sure that I had time to study and read, if the kids got up in the middle of the night or whatnot. But he never went through a doc program before, so I relied very heavily on a lot of my doctoral friends. They became like a critical support group. So you can have different subsets of support because you might need that. Like you can do it support from someone who's cheering you along, but then you might also need the support of people who are in it with you. So finding that support is critical. And that can lead to, using these campus resources, which I've been trying to hopefully introduce to you all along this semester using those resources. And then finally, celebrating success, making sure that you share your success with people because it does improve your motivation. If you can share your success with people, it allows you to motivate you to keep moving. It increases your overall happiness and well-being and instills higher self-efficacy. All right, that is chapter 7. That's the last chapter. So hopefully if you see anything in there that you want to spend a little bit more time on, you can go back in your text and look at that. But that is chapter 7. So now I'm going to go through what you are completing this week. So I'm going to go to your assignment folder. Now chapter 7, week 8 is opening on July 20th. It is closing on Friday the 24th. I have that written right here. Friday the 24th. It's in your syllabus. I made mention of it in a previous video. So you have until Friday the 24th. So it's a little bit shorter time span, but that's because I need to get grades wrapped up and check in and so on. So please make sure you're paying attention to that. I will send emails out with that date on there. All right, here's what you are doing for your chapter 7 discussion. Again, 250 words, your words, 250 or more, responding to this prompt. So hopefully this is an easy one for you. Post a successful experience you've had this semester and why. So you are responding to this prompt by Wednesday, July 22nd for week 8 attendance, and make sure you respond to 2 classmates by Friday the 24th. So again, Friday. Attendance posted by Wednesday, responded to classmates by Friday, and a successful experience. And this is going to be different for all of you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be academic related. Maybe you started a new job and you were able to kind of balance your job and your school. Maybe you found a new place to live, or it could be if you want to focus just on academic, that's fine too. Maybe you got the hang of being an online class, whatever the case is. Successful experience and why. That's your chapter 7 discussion. Okay, next one, your chapter 7 assignment called Success or Failure. You're going to open up this PDF, and I'm going to make a couple notes here. This is called Success or Failure. You're going to have 10 people. These are all people. It's going to say, can you name, and it's going to give you a description of each of these people. Someone who defeated 7 times while running for political office, someone who's a famous Harvard University dropout. Your job is to make an educated guess, basically. I have a little note here. Do not Google your answers. I will be able to tell because some of these are a little tricky. So if you get them all right, I know that you Googled. I am not going to mark you off for wrong answers. In class, I play this kind of like a game in class and see who can come up with the most correct answers. Obviously, I don't have that option with you guys when you're online, so this is just supposed to be fun. It's supposed to demonstrate all these successful people. History and in current society view these people as successful, but they actually failed a whole bunch before they became successful. So it's kind of like hey, look, even if you don't do well the first time or the 100th time, you still might be a success as long as you keep at it. So try to guess as many as you can. Even if you don't get it right, as long as you guess them all, you will get full credit. And you can put in a Word document and type them in there, or if you just want to click inside there and do it in the comment section or write a submission, because really you're only writing 10 names down, so it's not a lot of writing. So again, please do not Google these answers, and this will also give me a great indication of who is and who is not watching the videos or reading the assignment directions, because I can often tell if someone Googles them. So that is the assignment for week 7 called the success or failure. Okay, then you have your chapter 7 quiz, your very last quiz. So per usual, 2 to 5 sentences. So you'll see a lot of the things I talked about inside the PowerPoint. You can go back and look at the PowerPoint, go back and look at your textbook. Make sure that you're answering all the questions. Like question 3 is a 2-parter. Question 4 is asking you to compare and contrast different kinds of feedback. Question 6 sets you up with like a little scenario. And then here's that behavioral, humanistic, social kind of question. Like, why did you attend college? Which one of those motivational theories is connected? So if you recall, we talked about 4 theories back here. Behavioral, cognitive, humanistic, and social. Which one, or maybe multiple, did you attend college for and why? And how does that fit? So that's your Chapter 7 quiz. Okay. So far, again, discussion, due Wednesday the 22nd. Responded to other students by Friday the 24th. Chapter 7 assignment, Friday the 24th. Chapter 7 quiz, Friday the 24th. Now your last college resource reflection, counseling support services. So you click on that link, it's going to take you to the counseling support page, and they're going to have just a ton of resources on here. So there's different links you could go on here, like, hey, if I know some in my life who might be talking about suicide. There's information on that. There's a whole bunch of ways that our offices on campus, the services they provide. So you can kind of scroll down there, more information, lots of resources. So I encourage you to kind of click around, take a look. There's more information here specifically as it relates to COVID. That's not always there, but obviously right now it is. But just click around and take a look there. And what you're doing is, how could you or someone you know benefit from this resource on campus? You don't have to get personal. You don't have to give like tiny details. You can just talk about, the possible benefit of having these resources on our campus. So you can do a Word document and upload it, or you can type right in the right submission. Again, that's a paragraph long. Okay, so those are your assignments for Chapter 7 in Week 8. Discussion, success or failure, Chapter 7 quiz, resource reflection on counseling support. Now, a couple other quick things before we finish off. Previous weeks, I have opened up Week 1 again, Week 2, and so Week 3 will be available again for any makeup work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of Week 8, the 20th, 21st, 22nd. So if you have any work from Week 3 that you need to make up, it will be reopening on the 20th, 21st, 22nd of July. Okay, final thing, your final project. So if you go into the final project video, the directions are up there again if you needed to download those and double check against your directions and your rubric. All the videos are there that walk you through each of the steps, including a quick review at the end, and there's your Dropbox. Your final project is due Friday the 24th as well. I've not had anyone give me a rough draft yet. Of course, it's still early. I'm recording this on Wednesday of Week 7, but please feel free to send me rough drafts. As long as you're sending it to me before, the morning that it's due, as long as I have time to give you some feedback on it. Send me some slides, send me some information, whatever you need to do, because it is due Friday the 24th. When you're done, you'll click in there and you'll Dropbox it right in there as you've done with your other assignments. So Friday the 24th is when your final project is due. And again, that's in the lessons area under its own little folder, the final project videos. Last thing, if you have not already completed the course evaluation that they emailed you about a couple weeks ago, over on the left-hand side, it says My Survey Dashboard. If you click on that, it will show you all the classes you're currently taking, and you can get in there and complete the course evaluations. Okay, so that is everything for your final week of the semester. I want to thank you all. If you are brand new to online learning, hopefully you're a little bit more comfortable now. If this was something you were already used to, hopefully you still gained, some new knowledge from the course in general or interaction online. I do want to let you know if you ever need anything in the upcoming semesters, just feel free to reach out. And as of right now, we are face-to-face in the fall. So if you are on campus, always feel free to stop in. I'm in E244, say hi. Thank you all for a great semester, even though it wasn't necessarily the way we planned. I think we did a nice job persevering through it. Okay, everyone have a great rest of the summer.